So Drew says, "Hey Matt, I have a question. How to deal with my man's past? My boyfriend used to be a player, and he would bring it up from time to time, which makes me sometimes so uncomfortable. How can I cope with that?" Well, one of the things that you can do is figure out whether this is like a legitimate problem or not, right? Like if you're feeling uncomfortable with it, it either means that one, you're on the side of being a little bit like taking it personally or something. I don't know what he's saying, right? So it could be that you're taking it a little bit too personally and that, you just need to be secure in yourself a little bit more. Or it could be that he's saying things that are inappropriate. And if he's saying things that are inappropriate, what you need to do is set a boundary and let him know and communicate that so that he knows that that's kind of a topic that you don't really want to hear about, right? And the best way to do that is to communicate what it is that you want, right? And then go into the boundary. And so this is how you set boundaries. You start by saying what you want. So in this case, you might be like, yeah, you know what? I really love hanging out and having conversations. And I feel like our conversations are great. And it makes me feel really, really connected to you. And then you go into the boundary and you say, but, whenever you talk about this thing in your past, it kind of makes me feel really uncomfortable. It just, it sounds like kind of weird. And you're talking about these other women and I'm just like, it feels really kind of gross to me and it makes me feel less attracted to you. And so, right. And so that's the boundary. And then you say why, which is because it makes me feel unattracted to you and it feels kind of gross. And, and then you ask him, if he agrees to the boundary, which is, I'd love to talk, but can we just speak about, things that don't have to do with that, right? And he will say either yes or no, or he will kind of converse with you more about it and what's going on and why he's talking about it or whatever, right? And he will, if he really cares about you, he'll be like, oh, okay, we don't have to talk about that, right? Or whatever. And that's showing that he respects you and he values you and all that kind of stuff. And so that's kind of how you have that conversation, right? If it's on the side of you taking it personally and it's not really about, him kind of going into this area where he really, it's not really appropriate for him to be talking about, then what you want to do is just work on your self-esteem, if you're like talking about stuff as well, right? So if you're both like talking about your past relationships and stuff, but you get hurt about him talking about his past relationships, but you want to talk about yours, right? Then it's more of an issue with kind of security, right, in yourself. And you can build that if you want to through, different emotional states and changing the way that you talk to yourself and a whole bunch of different things. I'll be putting together some programs about that here in the not too distant future. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have some programs about that out. And so, but it's one of those things like make sure if it's it's a two-way street, right? If you're talking about stuff that's inappropriate, make sure that, or if he's talking about things that are inappropriate, make sure you're not doing it as well, is what I was trying to say there. It's what I was trying to say there. I hope you understand what I'm saying.